The Galactic Combat Academy had stood for 3,000 cycles, training warriors from 1,547 member species of the Coalition. Its halls echoed with the clash of energy weapons, the hum of gravity manipulators, and the barked orders of instructors who had survived wars that consumed entire star systems. Humans had been members for only 2 cycles. Instructor Velkash was a Korthian, 8 feet of chitinous armor, forearms ending in razor-sharp talons, and a reputation for breaking cadets who showed anything less than perfection. His species had conquered 42 systems before joining the Coalition, and he wore his ancestors' battle honors etched into his exoskeleton. He did not like humans. "Pathetic," he hissed, his translator rendering his clicks and chittering into harsh, galactic standard. "Your species sends me this? Soft-skinned, slow-healing, weak-boned refuse?" Cadet Sarah Chen stood at attention in the training ring, her standard-issue combat suit doing little to hide how physically outmatched she was. At 5'6", she barely reached Velkash's chest plates. Around them, 60 cadets from across the galaxy watched. This was the 3rd day of close-quarters combat training, and Velkash had made it his personal mission to prove humans didn't belong among warriors. "Your reflexes are inadequate," Velkash continued, circling her. "Your strength is laughable. Your durability is that of wet paper. Tell me, human, why should the Coalition waste resources training something that dies so easily?" Sarah's jaw tightened, but she kept her eyes forward. "Sir, humans have proven ourselves in 17 ground engagements since joining the Coalition. Our casualty rates..." The slap came without warning. Velkash's taloned hand cracked across her face with enough force to spin her head sideways. The sound echoed through the training hall like a gunshot. Blood welled from 3 shallow cuts on her cheek where his talons had dragged across her skin. "I did not give you permission to speak, cadet," Velkash said, his mandibles clicking with satisfaction. "You will learn your..." He didn't finish. Sarah's hand had already moved. Before Velkash could even track the motion, her fist drove upward into the ceremonial combat mask he wore, the one that bore his family's honor markings, the one that had been passed down through 7 generations of Korthian warriors. The mask shattered, fragments of ornately carved chitin scattered across the floor. The cadets gasped, a collective intake of breath from 60 different respiratory systems. But what shocked them more was the speed. Velkash's secondary eyelids were halfway closed in a blink when the mask broke. Korthians could blink in 0.08 seconds, faster than almost any species in the Coalition. Sarah had been faster. The training hall fell into absolute silence. Blood dripped from Sarah's face onto the mat, each drop echoing like thunder. Velkash stared at her, his mandibles frozen mid-click. His primary eyes widened, a sign of genuine shock in Korthian body language. "You struck me," he said slowly, his translator struggling with his disbelief. "Yes, sir," Sarah said, her voice steady despite the blood running down her neck. "With respect, sir, you struck first. I am your instructor, and this is a combat academy, sir." Sarah's dark eyes met his, unwavering. "You wanted to know what makes humans worth training? We don't wait for permission to survive. We don't debate the rules while we're bleeding. And we sure as hell don't let anyone teach us that we're acceptable targets." Velkash's talons flexed. Around them, cadets were backing away, anticipating a massacre. Korthians who suffered such dishonor traditionally responded with lethal force, but Velkash was studying her face. The cuts were already clotting, human blood coagulated remarkably fast. More importantly, her stance hadn't changed. She wasn't preparing to run. She wasn't begging forgiveness. She was ready to hit him again if necessary. "Your reaction time," Velkash said quietly. "That was 0.07 seconds from impact to counterattack." 0.06, sir, Sarah corrected. "I started moving when I saw your shoulder dip. Humans are persistence predators. We don't have your armor or your strength, but we evolved to read body language, predict movement, and adapt. You were hunting me like I was prey, sir. But humans aren't prey. We're the things that prey learn to fear. Velkash's mandibles clicked rapidly, the Corthian equivalent of laughter. It was a sound few cadets had ever heard from him. "You have drawn my ancestral blood honor," he said, gesturing to the broken mask. "By Corthian law, we must now engage in a formal duel to satisfaction or death." Sarah straightened. "Then I'm ready, sir." "No." Velkash bent down and picked up a fragment of his mask, studying the clean break. "You misunderstand. I invoke the clause of recognition. You have proven yourself worthy of instruction. The duel is satisfied." He turned to address the entire training hall, his voice carrying the weight of his 3 centuries of life. "Let this be a lesson to every cadet present. The human struck me not out of disrespect, but out of the one principle that separates warriors from victims, the refusal to accept that you are helpless. Strength is not only in armor or talons or venom. Strength is in the willingness to act when action is necessary, regardless of consequence." Velkash looked back at Sarah. His mandibles spreading in what humans would eventually learn was a Corthian smile. "Cadet Chen, you will report to advanced combat dynamics. You are wasted in basic training." He paused. "And you will teach a seminar on human reaction time optimization. Apparently, my entire species has been blinking too slowly." A ripple of chittering, buzzing, and various forms of laughter spread through the assembled cadets as Sarah saluted and left the ring. A Zenthari cadet, a species known for their analytical minds, approached Velkash. "Instructor, your honor mask was priceless." 7 generations can be replaced with 8, Velkash interrupted, still watching Sarah's departing figure. "Honor is not in the preservation of relics. It is in recognizing when you have been taught something valuable." He clicked his mandibles thoughtfully. "The humans have a saying, I believe. Don't start none. Won't be none." "Actually, sir," the Zenthari corrected nervously. "I think the more appropriate phrase might be talk shit. Get hit." Velkash's translator processed this for a moment. Then his mandibles clicked again, louder this time. "Yes, I believe I have just received what humans call getting hit, and it is the most valuable lesson I have learned in 30 cycles." Epilogue. 3 cycles later, Instructor Velkash's training methods had been adopted across the academy. The Chen Protocol, training cadets to act decisively even when outmatched, became standard curriculum for all species. When the Krythox invaded Coalition space that same year, it was a human Corthian joint unit that held the line at the Battle of Epsilon Ridge. They fought for 14 hours without retreat, and when ammunition ran out, they fought with blades and talons and sheer, bloody-minded stubbornness. The Krythox called them the species who refused to die. The Coalition called them the best warriors in the galaxy. Velkash called them the cadets who taught an old warrior that honor is not in never falling, it is in always rising. And Sarah Chen, she eventually became an instructor herself. She never wore a mask, she didn't need one.